Welcome to the Ontario Mortgage and Real Estate Insights podcast, your go-to source for the latest developments, trends, and regulatory changes in the industry. I'm your host, Steve Hamoan, here to provide you with insights sourced from reputable news outlets to help you stay informed and make well-informed decisions. This podcast is brought to you by Real Approved Inc., a trusted mortgage brokerage dedicated to helping Canadians achieve their homeownership dreams. Visit realapproved.ca to learn more about how their experienced team can assist you with your mortgage needs. Let's dive into today's episode. Today, we're diving into a report by Stephen Globerman, a senior fellow at the Fraser Institute, which highlights the challenges and costs associated with increasing Canada's housing supply. This topic is especially timely, as it's a major campaign promise from each of the three prominent candidates expected to vie for the position of Canada's next Prime Minister: Pierre Poilievre, Chrystia Freeland, and Mark Carney. According to the Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation, Canada needs an additional 3.5 million housing units by 2030, on top of the 18.2 million units projected to exist by then, to restore housing affordability. Globerman's report underscores the enormous financial commitment required to meet this goal. He argues that policymakers must enact broader strategies that include tax reform and spending reductions to improve savings and consumption decisions both for households and the government. Focusing on Toronto, one of Canada's priciest cities, the report estimates that constructing each affordable housing unit costs between $472,000 and $520,000, excluding land costs. Using the lower estimate, the total cost to build 3.5 million units would amount to approximately $1.65 trillion over 5 years, or $330 billion annually. This level of investment is nearly impossible under current conditions, given that Canada's total gross savings in 2023 was $695 billion. Canadians would need to boost their annual savings by almost 50% to fully finance the necessary housing supply. Globerman points out that this is not a realistic goal, especially considering the Trudeau government's increased immigration rates in 2023 and 2024, which suggests that the housing needs might be even greater than the CMHC's estimate. The report also dismisses sourcing foreign capital as a viable option since domestic savings are the primary source of financing for investments in Canada and other wealthy countries. One potential solution mentioned by Globerman is adjusting monetary policies, such as raising interest rates to boost domestic savings. However, he warns that this approach could backfire by reducing demand for construction loans, thereby slowing down housing construction. Higher borrowing costs would also make homeownership less affordable, exacerbating the very crisis policymakers aim to solve. Furthermore, with the looming imposition of United States tariffs on steel and aluminum imports, materials crucial to home building, Canadian home builder associations are warning that these tariffs could severely impact the housing sector. Such tariffs could drive up the costs of new homes, which would, in turn, push resale home prices out of reach for many Canadians. Today, we're focusing on an important announcement that has caught the attention of the real estate community in Ontario. The Government of Canada and the town of Georgina are set to make a significant housing-related announcement. This development is part of the broader efforts to address housing challenges in the region, which have been a point of concern for policymakers and residents alike. The announcement is scheduled to take place in Georgina, a town that has been actively involved in initiatives to enhance housing availability and affordability. While the specific details of the announcement have not been disclosed, it is anticipated to align with the federal government's ongoing commitment to improving the housing landscape across the country. This initiative comes at a time when housing demand continues to outpace supply, leading to increased pressure on both the rental and home ownership markets. Georgina, like many other communities in Ontario, has experienced these pressures firsthand, making this announcement particularly relevant. It's worth noting that the federal government has been under scrutiny for its handling of housing issues, with critics pointing to the need for more effective and immediate solutions. This announcement could signal a step in the right direction, potentially offering new strategies or funding that could alleviate some of the existing challenges. The collaboration between the federal government and local municipalities like Georgina highlights the importance of cooperative efforts in tackling housing issues. By working together, these entities can leverage resources and expertise to create more sustainable and impactful solutions. As we await further details, stakeholders in the real estate and mortgage sectors will be keenly observing the outcomes of this announcement. The potential implications for the housing market could be significant, affecting everything from property values to the availability of affordable housing options. We'll continue to monitor this situation closely and provide updates as more information becomes available. For those in the mortgage and real estate sectors, staying informed about these developments is crucial for making strategic decisions. Finally, let's turn our attention to Nova Scotia, where the availability of affordable apartments is rapidly declining, while the costs associated with new ones are on the rise. It's a situation that's reflective of a broader trend we're seeing in many parts of Canada, where housing affordability is becoming an increasing concern. According to a recent report by the CBC, Nova Scotia is losing some of its most affordable rental units at an alarming rate. This loss is attributed to a combination of factors, including aging buildings being taken off the market for refurbishment or redevelopment, and the conversion of rental units into more expensive condominiums. These factors are squeezing the supply of affordable housing, making it increasingly difficult for low- and middle-income families to find suitable accommodation. The report highlights that while the supply of affordable units is dwindling, the cost of constructing new apartments is soaring. Developers are facing higher costs for materials and labor, which are then passed on to renters in the form of higher rents. This dynamic is creating a challenging environment for those looking to enter or stay in the rental market. The provincial government has been under pressure to address these issues, with some advocating for rent control measures and increased investment in affordable housing projects. Others argue that such interventions could deter investment in new housing developments, potentially exacerbating the supply issue. In response, the government has been exploring various strategies to tackle the crisis. These include offering incentives to developers for building affordable housing and increasing funding for social housing projects. However, the effectiveness of these measures remains to be seen, as the demand for affordable housing continues to outpace supply. As we consider the situation in Nova Scotia, it's clear that similar challenges are present across many Canadian provinces. The balance between encouraging new developments and maintaining affordability is a delicate one, requiring thoughtful policymaking and collaboration between government, developers, and community organizations. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Ontario Mortgage and Real Estate Insights podcast. We hope you found today's insights valuable as you navigate the world of mortgages and real estate. Before you go, a quick reminder. Real Approved is here to make your mortgage journey smoother. Whether you're buying your first home or refinancing, their experienced team is ready to guide you with personalized support every step of the way. Visit realapproved.ca to get started and take the next step toward achieving your home ownership goals. Catch you next time and stay informed with the latest industry insights.